Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am MK Javintaj. Today in this video I am giving you the knowledge about first module of the subject Design and Analysis of Algorithms for 4th SEM CSC CBCS BTU students. I am dedicating this video to all the students. Now let us begin. Introduction. What is an algorithm? An algorithm is a finite set of instructions to solve a particular problem. In addition, all algorithms must satisfy the following criteria. Input: 0 or more qualities are externally supplied. Output: at least one quality. Input: 0 or more quantities are externally supplied. Output: at least one quantity is produced. Definiteness: each instruction is clear and unambiguous. It must be perfectly clear what should be done. Finiteness: if we trace out the instruction of an algorithm, then for all cases the algorithm terminates after a finite number of steps. Effectiveness: every instruction must be very basic so that it can be carried out in principle by a person using only pencil and paper. It is not enough that each operation be definite as in criterion C. It also must be feasible. Algorithm design and analysis process. We now briefly discuss a sequence of steps one typically goes through in designing and analyzing an algorithm. See the figure. Understanding the problem. From a practical perspective, the first thing you need to do before designing an algorithm is to understand completely the problem given. An input to an algorithm specifies an instance of the problem the algorithm solves. It is very important to specify exactly the set of instances the algorithm needs to handle. Ascertaining the capabilities of the computational device. Once you completely understand a problem, you need to ascertain the capabilities of the computational device the algorithm is intended for. Select appropriate model from sequential or parallel programming model. Choosing between exact and approximate problem solving. The next principal decision is to choose between solving the problem exactly and solving it approximately, because there are important problems that simply cannot be solved exactly for most of their instances, and some of the available algorithms for solving a problem exactly can be unacceptably slow because of the problem's intrinsic complexity. Algorithm design techniques. An algorithm design technique or strategy or paradigm is a general approach to solving problems algorithmically that is applicable to a variety of problems from different areas of computing. They provide guidance for designing algorithm for new problems, that is, problems for which there is no unknown satisfactory algorithm. Now let us see designing an algorithm and data structures. One should pay close attention to choosing data structures appropriate for the operations performed by the algorithm. For example, the sieve of Eratosthenes would run longer if we used a linked list instead of an array in its implementation. Algorithm plus data structure is equal to programs. Methods of specifying an algorithm. Once you have designed an algorithm, you need to specify it in some fashion. These are the two options that are most widely used nowadays for specifying algorithms. Using a natural language has an obvious appeal. However, the inherent ambiguity of any natural language makes a concise and clear description of algorithms surprisingly difficult. Pseudocode is a mixture of a natural language and program language like constructs. Pseudocode is usually more precise than natural language, and its usage often yields more succinct algorithm descriptions. Now let us see providing an algorithm's correctness. Once an algorithm has been specified, you have to prove its correctness. That is, you have to prove that the algorithm yields a required result for every legitimate input in a finite amount of time. For some algorithms, a proof of correctness is quite easy. For others, it can be quite complex. A common technique for proving correctness is to use mathematical induction, because an algorithm's iterations provide a natural sequence of steps needed for such proofs. Analyzing an algorithm. After correctness, by far the most important is efficiency. In fact, there are two kinds of algorithm efficiency: time efficiency, indicating how fast the algorithm runs, and space efficiency, indicating how much extra memory it uses. Another desirable characteristics of an algorithm is simplicity. Unlike efficiency, which can be precisely defined and investigated with mathematical rigor, simply like beauty is to a considerable degree in the eye of the beholder. Now let us see coding an algorithm. Most algorithms are destined to be ultimately implemented as computer programs. Implementing an algorithm correctly is necessary but not sufficient. You would not like to diminish your algorithm's power by an inefficient implementation. Modern compilers do provide a certain safety net in this regard, especially when they are used in their code optimization mode. Now let us say algorithm specification. An algorithm can be specified in simple English graphical representation like flowchart, programming language like C++ or Java, combination of above methods. Using the combination of simple English and C++, the algorithm for selection sort is specified as shown in the figure. See, in C++, the same algorithm can be specified as follows. See the figure. Here type is a basic or user-defined data type. Now let us say recursive algorithms. An algorithm is said to be recursive if the same algorithm is invoked in the body. Direct recursive algorithm A is said to be indirect recursive if it calls another algorithm which in turn calls A. Example, factorial computation. Second example, binomial coefficient computation. See the figure. Third example, Tower of Hanoi problem. Fourth example, permutation generator. Now let us see analysis framework. General framework for analyzing the efficiency of algorithm is discussed here. There are two kinds of efficiency: time efficiency and space efficiency. Time efficiency indicates how fast an algorithm in question runs. Space efficiency deals with the extra space the algorithm requires. In the early days of electronic computing, both resources, time and space, were at a premium. Now the amount of extra space required by an algorithm is typically not of as much concern. In addition, the research experience has shown that for most problems we can achieve much more spectacular progress in speed than in space. Therefore, following a well-established tradition of algorithm textbooks, we primarily concentrate on time efficiency. Now let us see measuring an input's size. It is observed that almost all algorithms run longer on larger inputs. For example, it takes longer to sort larger arrays, multiply larger matrices, and so on. Therefore, it is logical to investigate an algorithm's efficiency as a function of some parameter n indicating the algorithm's input size. There are situations where the choice of a parameter indicating an input size does matter. The choice of an appropriate size metric can be influenced by operations of the algorithm in question. For example, how should we measure an input size for a spell checking algorithm? If the algorithm examines individual character of its input, then we should measure the size by the number of characters. If it works by processing words, we should count their number in the input. We should make a special note about measuring the size of inputs for algorithms involving properties of numbers. Example, checking whether a given integer n is prime. For such algorithms, computer scientists prefer measuring size by the number b of bits in the nth binary representation. B is equal to log 2 to the power of n, log 2n plus 1. This metric usually gives a better idea about the efficiency of algorithms in question. Now let us see units for measuring running time. To measure a algorithm's efficiency, we should like to have a metric that does not depend on these extraneous factors. One possible approach is to count the number of times each of the algorithm's operations is executed. This approach is best excessively difficult and, as we shall see, usually unnecessary. The thing to do is to identify the most important operation of the algorithm, called the basic operation, the operation contributing the most to the total running time, and compute the number of times the basic operation is executed. For example, most sorting algorithms work by comparing elements keys of a list being sorted with each other. For such algorithms, the basic operation is a key comparison. And another example, algorithm for matrix multiplication and polynomial evaluation requires two arithmetic operations, multiplication and addition. Let COP be the execution time of an algorithm's basic operation on a particular computer, and let C of n be the number of times this operation needs to be executed for this algorithm. Then we can estimate the running time T of n of a program implementing this algorithm on that computer by the formula T of n approximately equal to COP C of n. Unless n is extremely large or very small, the formula can give a reasonable estimate of the algorithm's running time. It is for these reasons that the efficiency analysis framework ignores multiplicative constants and concentrates on the counts order of growth to within a constant multiple for the large size input order of the growth. Why this emphasis on the counts order of the growth for large input sizes? Because for large values of n, it is the function's order of growth that counts. Just look at the table which contains values of a few functions particularly important for analysis of algorithms. See the table. Algorithms that require an exponential number of operations are practical for solving only problems of very small sizes. Worst case, best case, and average case efficiencies. Definition. The worst case efficiency of an algorithm is its efficiency for the worst case input of size n, for which the algorithm runs the longest among all possible inputs of that size. Consider the algorithm for sequential search. See the figure. The running time of above algorithm can be quite different for the same list size n. In the worst case, when there are no matching elements or the first matching element happens to be the last one on the list, the algorithm makes the largest number of key comparisons among all possible inputs of the size n. See worst of n is equal to n. In general, we analyze the algorithm to see what kind of the inputs yield the largest value of the basic operations count C of n among all possible inputs of size n, and then compute this worst case value C worst of n. The worst case analysis provides algorithm's efficiency by bounding its running time from above. Thus, it guarantees that for any instance of size n, the running time will not exceed C worst of n, its running time on the worst case inputs. Definition. The best case efficiency of an algorithm is its efficiency for the best case input of the size n, for which the algorithm runs the fastest among all possible inputs of that size. We determine the kind of inputs for which the count C of n will be the smallest among all possible inputs of size n. For example, for sequential search, best case inputs are lists of the size n with their first elements equal to search key C best of n is equal to 1. The analysis of the best case efficiency is not nearly as important as that of the worst case efficiency. Also, neither the worst case analysis nor its best case counterpart yields the necessary information about an algorithm's behavior on a typical or random input. This information is provided by average case efficiency. Definition: the average case complexity of an algorithm is the amount of time used by the algorithm averaged over all possible inputs. Let us consider again sequential search. The standard assumptions are that A. the probability of a successful search is equal to top 0 less than or equal to P is less than or equal to 1, and B. the probability of the first match occurring in the ith position of the list in the same for every I. We can is the same for every I. We can find the average number of key comparisons C average of n as follows. In the case of a successful search, the probability of the first match occurring in the ith position of the list is P bar n for every I, and the number of comparisons made by the algorithm in such a situation is obviously I. In the case of an unsuccessful search, the number of comparisons is n with the probability of such a search being 1 minus P. Therefore, see the figure. Investigation of an average case efficiency is considerably more difficult than investigation of the worst case and best case efficiencies, but there are many important algorithms for which the average case efficiency is much better than the overlay. Pessimistic worst case efficiency would lead us to believe. Note that average case efficiency cannot be obtained by taking the average of the worst case and the best case efficiencies. Summary of analysis framework. Both time and space efficiencies are measured as functions of algorithm's input size. Time efficiency is measured by counting the number of times the algorithm's basic operation is executed. Space efficiency is measured by counting the number of extra memory units consumed by the algorithm. The efficiencies of some algorithms may differ significantly for inputs of the same size. For such algorithms, we need to distinguish between the worst case, average case, and best case efficiencies. The framework's primary interest lies in order of growth of the algorithm's running time or extra memory units consumed as its input size goes to infinity. Now let us see performance analysis. Space complexity. Total amount of the computer memory required by an algorithm to complete its execution is called space complexity of that algorithm. The space required by an algorithm is the sum of the following components: a fixed part that is independent of the input and output. This includes memory space for codes, variables, constants, and so on. A variable part that depends on the input, output, and recursion stack. We call these parameters as instance characteristics. Space requirement S of P of an algorithm P. S of P is equal to C plus SP, where C is a constant, depends on the fixed part. SP is the instance characteristics. See the example. Consider the following algorithm ABC. Here fixed component depends on the size of A, B, and C. Also instance characteristics SP is equal to 0. So let us see the second example. Let us consider the algorithm to find the sum of arrays. For the algorithm given here, the problem instances are characterized by n, the number of elements to be summed. The space needed by A depends on n, so the space complexity can be written as like this: S sum of n greater than or equal to n plus 3, n for A, 1 each for n, I, and S. See the code. Now let us see time complexity. Usually the execution time or runtime of the program is referred as its time Complexity denoted by TP instance characteristics. This is the sum of the time taken to execute all instructions in the program. Exact estimation runtime is a complex task as the number of instructions executed is dependent on the input data. Also, different instructions will take a different time to execute. So, for the estimation of the time complexity, we count only the number of program steps. A program step is loosely defined as syntactically or semantically meaning a segment of the program that has an execution time that is independent of the instant characteristics. For example, comment has 0 steps, assignment statements has 1 step, and so on. We can determine the steps needed by a program to solve a particular problem instance in two ways. In the first method, we introduce a new variable count to the program which is initialized to 0. We also introduce statements to increment count by an appropriate amount into the program. So when each time our original program executes, the count also incremented by the step count. See the example 1. Consider the algorithm sum. After the introduction of the count, the program will be as follows. See the figure. From the above, we can estimate that invocation of sum executes a total number of 2n plus 3 steps. The second method to determine the step count of the algorithm is to build a table in which we list the total number of steps contributed by each statement. As an example is as follows. See the figure. See the example 2, matrix addition. The above method is both excessively difficult and usually unnecessary. The thing to do is to identify the most important operation of the algorithm called the basic operation, the operation contributing the most to the total runtime, and compute the number of the times the basic operation is executed. Trade-off. There is often a time-space trade-off involved in a problem. That is, it cannot be solved with few computing time and low memory consumption. One has to make a compromise and to exchange computing time for memory consumption or vice versa. Depending on which algorithm one chooses and how one parameterizes it. Now let us see asymptotic notations. The efficiency analysis framework concentrates on the order of the growth of an algorithm's basic operation count as the principal indicator of the algorithm's efficiency. To compare and rank such order of growth, computer scientists use three notations: big O, big omega, big theta, and little o. Now let us see big O notation. Definition. A function t of n is said to be in O of big O of g of n, denoted t of n belongs to O of, that is big omega, big O of g of n if t of n is bounded above by some constant multiple of g of n for all large n, that is if there exists some positive constant c and some non-negative integer n naught, such that, see the equation, t of n is lesser than or equal to c g of n for all n greater than or equal to n naught.